That's impact.
The right way.
That's impact.
The right way.
Hello and welcome to a new your host, Vernon Wright. Be sure to follow me on hashtag That's Impact. We looked at leadership, push or pull. If you haven't looked at that with someone else that as a leader has some control, they can be self-reflective. See by the title, this is leverage. Follow up, obviously, to leverage part one. For 1 week, 7 days along with your team to go back and look at all of the findings. Obviously, as a leader, you need. Number 2, action is the mother of momentum. Number 3, action must speak to the needs of, and do this. Number 1, take action, start today. Yes, that's impact. Leverage is about action. This is leverage part 2. Hey, remember, feed your brain, feed your soul, and grow. That's impact. See you next time. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Let's Get It Right with me, your host, Vernon Wright. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at The Right Leader. Hashtag That's Impact the Right Way. So last week we looked at leadership, push or pull. If you haven't looked at that, be sure to go back and take a look at it, especially if you feel like you have some control issues as a leader, like you know someone else that as a leader has some control issues. That's a good place to point them where they can be self-reflective and take a look at their leadership style. Obviously, as you see by the title, this is leverage part 2. And with leverage part 2, it is a follow-up, obviously, to leverage part 1. We talked about that and said that we would go ahead and follow up with that. In leverage part 1, we talked about taking 1 week, 7 days along with your team to go back and look at all of the processes that happened naturally, occurred naturally within your workflow, and looking for places where you could take action to make improvements that spoke to the needs of the people. Number 2 is this. Now that we have done that for 7 days, and again, if you haven't, go back and look at leverage part 1. That's a good place to start with that 7-day challenge. You're going to sit down with your team and you're going to look over all of the observations. You're going to share those findings. Obviously, as a leader, you need to have findings to share as well. If you sit there and you don't have any findings to share with your team and you're just listening, I don't know how much that really says about your involvement as a leader. So you want to go ahead and have some information to share along with the team to show your earnest involvement in the project. Once all of those observations are shared, then you can have the collaborative process of selecting 1 or 2 of those actions that will make the biggest impact. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and mention 3 things to you that I would like for you to be mindful of as we go through this process. Number 1 is this. Leverage is about action. Leverage is about taking action. Okay? Number 2, action is the mother of momentum. You cannot have momentum unless you first take action. Number 3, action must speak to the needs of the people. If you're taking action to serve your own needs and they're not serving the needs of the people, those actions are not, people are going to see that. And they're going to go ahead and question whether your improvements or your proposed actions are really speaking to the needs that they have as an organization, or whether those are based in just your observations or the things that you feel are appropriate. So again, those actions that we take must speak to the needs of the people. So with that being the case, once you pick 1 to 2 actions that you are going to go ahead and implement, we want you to go ahead and do this. Number 1, take action, start today. Yes, take action, start today. Even if it's the smallest of actions. Because again, leverage is about action. This is leverage part 2. Action is the mother of momentum. You cannot have momentum without first having action. So you're going to take even the smallest of steps today and take action. Number 2, you're going to go ahead and establish your systems. How are you going to implement? How are you going to monitor and review how the implementation goes? How are you going to come back and reflect on that process? And also 2, how are you going to make refinements? If you are a fan of the 6 Sigma process, that is what is known within that realm as define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So let's go ahead and review the right actions for today. Number 1, you're going to sit down with your team and review those things that you observed and saw during the week, the 7-day challenge from Leverage Part 1. Number 2, you're going to pick 1 to 2 of those actions that you can start today. Number 3, remember these 3 points. Leverage is about action. Number 2, action is the mother of momentum. And number 3, action must speak to the needs of the people. There you have it. That is it for today. Remember, feed your brain, feed your soul, and grow your role. That's impact the right way. See you next time. That's impact
The right way.